All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. So anyways, let's get into it here today. So a lot to unpack here today, even though the market was pretty much sideways. So we had that much anticipated jobs revision this morning, and it was the worst since 2008. So I think it was 818,000. And by the way, the BLS took their sweet time getting it out because they had to fix the numbers real good, which they still. This is a historically bad number, which is funny. But they took their time getting out. Oh, and then the algos sold off on the number that didn't even get released. That was even better. But then it finally got released, and we dumped out. We talked a little bit about volatility. So let's talk about VIXpiration for a second. You can see the VX futures here up 1.5. VIXY up 2. VIX up 3.5%, 4%. VVIX up 5.5 actually. So vol products getting a bit, volatility's unpinned a little bit here as that expiry is over with, but it's not spilling over into stocks. Why is that? Big reason is the volume. So about 27 million shares here, and we only have 20 minutes left to the close. So it's ridiculously light. We got down to 55.92, tapped it, and look how quick, look how easily the dip was bought. So it's very hard to, when the volume is this light, it's very hard to get real sellers. Sellers need that liquidity. It's not enough to have a good headline. You need that sell side liquidity, that sell side volume. And we're just not having it right now. And this is one of my least favorite tapes to trade when you have a big melt up. Like until we get price discovery, it's like it can't go long up here. That's just the cardinal sin of chasing in the worst way. And shorting is also just as dangerous because we're in melt up mode and bears are getting squeezed out. And it's very powerful when that happens. And if you think it can't go higher, it can, and it doesn't have to pull back for a lot longer than you think. I've seen patterns like this where they will melt up way longer than you think without a pullback. But let's get into that. So it's kind of obvious now. So why haven't we, we talked about this all week, right? Ever since like here, 54.60, it got ridiculous, right? I said very clearly, as soon as we get above 53.20 to 25, we're going to go to 5400. We'll get a very good squeeze. And then from there, maybe we'll pull back, we'll consolidate. We could go higher, we could go lower. And if we get through that, the big bull case would be to the 618 at 54.63. We stopped there for one day, and then we gapped through it, went to the 786 for one more day, and then we blew through that. So yesterday was the first time we had a lower low intraday since the bottom. And that's all it was too. That little pin prick. Why are we melting up this hard? It's clear to me anyway that with Fed minutes here, Fed minutes are usually a nothing burger, but based on me reading this, Powell's going to cut Friday. He's going to announce a cut Friday for September. So vast majority of participants were in favor of a cut for September. Does anybody think that the banks did not have that information right here? Because I will find a bridge to sell you. That's why we're melting up this hard. I see it every day, like watching the 0DTEs, the call walls just get blown through. Anybody's trying to sell calls onto this or hedge with puts is getting killed. And that's why I think we've just been able to melt up. The first 5,100 to 5,450, yeah, okay, fair. There was a lot of bears. They should get squeezed. But the last, 200-300 points has been absurd. And I think, personally, we'll find out, but I think that's what it is. I think they're probably going to run it up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see 5,700 very soon before some sort of pullback. Now, that could be wrong. Maybe we roll over right here. But it seems to me like they're running it up into that. We could get a sell to news off of that if we get a big pop. I talked about that put call ratio yesterday, and again, that's 3 days in a row that we're below 0.6. That's usually a danger sign. That doesn't mean that we can't go higher first, but that's usually a danger sign. Now, could we pull back and work that off very quickly? Yeah, we could, but we could also go to 57 first. So I would just be a little careful here. Again, obviously you can't chase at this point. If you're long, you just got to trail your stop. And you can try and short double top, but I bet you a lot of people will try to do that, and they'll probably try to push it up and blow it out a little bit. Again, so that's kind of my base case right now. Again, I don't really have much skin in the game here at this point, so I'm just kind of observing right now, but it seems to me like that's exactly what's going on. So we'll see. We'll see by tomorrow. We got jobless claims tomorrow too, so hopefully that'll give us at least wake the market up a little bit. I was hoping that today, I knew the VIX was going to wake up, and I was like, okay, well, maybe the market can wake up a little bit and we can get a little bit more volatility to trade, but it's been a mess out there lately with the light volume. And if they don't pull us back here by Jackson Hole, if we don't have a big sell-off, a sharp sell, it's going to be like this summer doldrums type stuff, 30, 40 million shares on SPY, probably until Labor Day, so after Labor Day. So just keep that in mind. Again, don't overtrade in this environment. It is a recipe to lose money. So, but that's my thoughts right now. Again, I don't really have any skin in the game or a bias, but that's kind of what I'm looking at and what I think might happen. So anyway, short term though, if we start to pull back, again, if they grace us with a break of 55.92, sorry, and not just a little pinprick, then we can start to pull back towards 55.50. That is really not even that far away. That is, let me get, sorry, I'm dancing through these time frames here. It's right there. So this is a 4-hour, basically Monday's opening candle. Yeah, right there, that low. And then through that, the bigger level is 5,500. These are extremely modest pullback areas, by the way, considering the size of this move. But, that's just what we're looking at in the short term. In fact, we could actually go all the way down to 5,400, and that would just be a routine pullback at this point. That's how extended we are. But in any case, those are the levels I'm looking at. Triple Qs here. There is a level at 486, and that's the 786 fib. The only problem I think bulls have right now is that NASDAQ's not leading. So if let's say we do what I'm saying, we melt up, we have a euphoric gap, and then we correct. You want to see that the NASDAQ start to correct less and the S&P correct more, and the NASDAQ take over at some point to indicate that we're going to go higher. But 486 on QQQ, that's the next level. There's some support down here at 470 with that trend line and that, I don't even know what that level is the other day. I don't know why that's in there. Let's put it at 469. All right, IWM up 1.2. Again, it's good to see the Russell leading. Never bad. And again, watch this monthly. A lot of people dunked on the Russell. Oh, it's a failed breakout. They dunked on my guy Tom Lee. We'll see. Tom Lee thinks another 40% for small caps. Everybody in my service knows we have our inside joke with Tom Lee. But yeah, if that ends up being an inside hammer, that's not bad on the monthly. So I'm watching that close. That'll be next week too. Weekly looks okay. But right now, a lot of resistance up here. All right, diamond here, fractionally higher. We talked about that trend line there on the Dow. Yeah, there it is. So it's into that right now. SMH here up just under 1%, consolidating beneath resistance. So that's not bad. 618, and it's just basing. It's not rejecting. IGV continues to be strong. Again, a little overbought here in the short term, but I think the bigger picture is very good. Dow Transport's up after a down day yesterday. It's hammering on 15.8. It's going to break through it eventually. At least that's what I would assume. Usually when you hammer on a level 4 or 5 days in a row, it's what it does. Okay. Let's go to rates. So 2-year down. There we go. 2-year down a little bit today. Again, it still has a chance for a higher low. We'll see. Powell's going to obviously move this. Is it priced in? We'll see. And how much do they cut? It's probably going to be 25 basis points, 50 basis points. I don't think they've ever done, or the only time they did it was in like an emergency situation. So if they did that, that would probably crash the market. So those idiots out there calling for 50 basis points, they're not going to do that unless something breaks. Jeremy Siegel crying on TV at the lows. But 5s, 10s, 30s, 30s green. Again, they can try for a higher low here. There's a big level here at 370, and that is still big support for the 10-year. Well, we'll see how they. I just want to see, kind of defer to Jackson Hole. Home builders, again, they're just so sticky, right? We got above that level. As soon as they did that, we've popped up. Again, we talked about this. No weakness on the weekly chart, and that's why you don't want to be. You got to use those weekly time frames because the daily was bearish, but the weekly was still good. I told you not to be short there. VNQ, new 52-week highs today. That continues to be strong. So next level is probably around 95 with that pivot and that red bar. So VNQ strong. XLF backing off down 11 cents. That looks a little soft. So we'll see. I know Warren Buffett's selling a lot of Bank of America. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's backing off. KRE up 21 cents. KBE up as well. No problems. And broker dealers, they're just trying for all-time highs as usual. Oil here down $1.25. So on the weaker side, could be like a little inverted cup and handle look. So just be a little careful with oil here. Not a great look. Starting to trend down. I don't like how you're coming down to this 70 handle 3 times in the last 3 months with lower highs. So be aware of that. XLE up 19 cents today. That has a chance for higher low, but pattern's not good yet. Same thing with XOP. It's not bad, right? We had a good slice yesterday, but no follow through, so that's good. So that's a positive there for XOP. Again, we need to see a little bit more. And then OIH bouncing, but still not great. This could be, if it breaks up though, this could be an island, and that could be very bullish. But we'll see. It hasn't been rallying with the rest of energy. CCJ still tapping on this level. We'll see if it can break. We can get rid of this. We no longer have the head and shoulders. We filled out the target. If it gets through that 44, and then 46. NM is a little bit weaker. So not as strong there. The 20 moving averages caught up to price now. Nat Gas having a good day. We actually day traded this at the lows, got a proprietary signal, caught the low very nicely. We actually used the V contract, but it's just it's down a penny, but I like this action here. I like how it went up here. It sold off Friday and then it bounced back up Monday with a higher high and engulfing, and you're just inside. I think this sets up a little bit longer. This will break through 230 and then 240. I'm looking at the V right now, so I still have some runners on this, and I think this can go to 250. I think Nat Gas is bottom for the season, and I mean it's Nat Gas, so I could easily say this and it'll crash 10% tomorrow, which is fine because we have a risk-free profit in place. But either way, I think it's bottom for the season, and I think we should start to trade up into the fall. That's usually how it works. But 250 would be the next level on the V. For the U, it's like 240. But there's only like a week left in the U, so I'm starting to look at the V a little bit more. Dollar index down 30 cents. Again, just getting crap. This will probably bounce when, I would say on Jackson Hole. We might have to go down to 100 though. Weekly 200 moving average. Monthly 50. So it probably prices in Jackson Hole and then bounces when they announce that. Gold, again, this also could be a sell the news, right? It's at all-time highs. It's pricing in a cut. When I say sell the news, I'm not saying it's going to crash. It just might pull back. Silver, and by the way, there's not many places I'd rather be right now than in gold, if I had to pick like out of a lot of things. Because I think if you get instability and inflation upticks again, that's good for gold. And if you get rate cuts, that's also very good. So silver up 10 cents, now 11. It pulled back off 30 today, and now it's just trying to base. So I don't see any problems here. If it can base a little bit more, it goes through that. What I like about silver also is that this weekly, you've hit this level 1, 2, 3, and now 4 times, and you have higher lows. And you tried to break out, but when it rejected, it didn't like reject, like failed breakout, trap everybody long. Like it's actually holding up. It keeps hitting that level. Probably wants to go through it. Platinum failed bear inside bar. So that can go higher now. The only thing is it's platinum, so it's kind of thinly traded. So sometimes it doesn't, TA isn't as reliable. It is reliable, but it's not. Patterns aren't as good. The levels are good, but patterns not so much. But yeah, failed inside bar. So I would give that a bull bias here. And palladium trying for an outside move here. This could be a sloppy consolidation pattern. Good volume there. I'd like to see a little bit more, and then I think that can go up too. Copper, again, we talked about this a lot of things hammering on levels, and this continues to do that. Higher highs and higher highs, higher lows, keeps hitting 420. It's knocking on the door. I think it's going to 430, maybe higher. So I still have a runner in that. Bitcoin firming up. So this is what you wanted to see here. You want to see it kind of scoop back up because the 20 MA was like pointing down, and we got rejected yesterday. You don't want to see this roll over because then you can, you head back to the lows. But nice scooping up there. That's good. Still got to get through 63, but if this can just get up there, stay firm, maybe consolidate again, it's looking good. Again, keeping an eye on that monthly. Monthly 20 MA is going to move up next month, and it's almost caught up to price now. That thing's going. That is a fat monthly base. So we'll see. But Bitcoin might be getting interesting here. All right, market's melting up here. Look at the IWM highs of the day, 56.20. There is some GEX at 56. Well, there was at 56.30. Now it's at 20. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. So we'll probably close right in this area. MARC closes in like 3 minutes anyway. So again, we'll see. Did they have inside info? Are they going to just gap it up and blow it up on Jackson Hole? It's possible. It wouldn't shock me now. And I think this makes a lot of sense. I know, they did that back here. Yellen definitely leaked the QRA to the banks. Why else would we have just gapped through resistance before that came out, before the FOMC that one time? So, but either way, we'll see. Yeah, again, short term, no downside until that level 55.92 breaks, and that's just a minor level, 55.50 and then 55 even after that. Yeah, I mean, I could see 57 pretty soon though, if they want it. It looks like they're trying to do this euphoric move. But the market is pricing it in though. So I think if we're going to pull back, it won't be until after that. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.